That down. Let's move on to this. You know, we just talked about how this Friday was the second biggest box office day in history. That was because Gladiator had a really impressive second weekend drop off of less than 50%. Wicked had an insane second weekend drop off of less than 30% for a movie that opened over $100 million. I honestly don't know when the last time that happened. But the big one was Moana 2. As Moana 2, over its long holiday weekend, made $225 million. Now remember, that's not just the weekend. Remember, because it opened a couple of days early.
Since Tuesday, really.
So all told, it's $225 million. I think it was 130 something just for the weekend proper. Can you imagine how big its weekend proper would have been if they didn't do those early screenings?
Oh.
It would have cracked the $200 million mark, no problem. But in the process, it set several major records. Now, it says updated, movie theaters finally have something to be thankful for. Variety writes this. Disney's Moana 2, I'm going to read this a little bit at length. There's just some really good information in here. Cemented a new Thanksgiving box office record with $225 million over the 5-day holiday frame, obliterating the previous high watermark set by 2019's Frozen 2, which pulled in $125 million, and 2013's Hunger Games Catching Fire, which pulled in $109. It also stands as the biggest 5-day debut in history, overtaking Universal's 2023 behemoth, the Super Mario Brothers movie, that made $205.6 million in a 5-day opening weekend. The film's first 3-day tally of $139.7 million registers as the best start for Walt Disney Animation, ahead of Frozen 2, which did $130 million. And ticket sales for Moana sequel were higher than Sunday's estimates of $135.5 million over the traditional weekend, $221 million over the 5 days, and far above early projections of $135 to $145. Moana 2, they said, has far surpassed our high expectations this weekend and is a testament to the phenomenon that Moana has become. Disney Entertainment co-chairman Alan Bergman said in a statement, "This is a moment to celebrate, and we're thankful to all the moviegoers and fans who have helped make this a record-breaking debut." All right. So, a huge weekend overall for the box office, but specifically for Moana that broke several major box office records. By the way, the movie just opened, I believe, in 10 countries. You know, some movies roll out and they're opening weekends. This is why when we talk about opening weekend, we only talk about the North American opening weekend,
right,
and not worldwide, because like a lot of movies open in 50 countries on the same weekend or 60 countries. One opened in 10. And look at it right now. The movie's already made a Black Adam.
Oh,
and it's more than that because there was 13 million, I think, for Tuesday. And right now they're not including the Tuesday.
No, I think the worldwide total does include the Tuesday.
Oh, it's not. Okay.
Yeah.
So
the worldwide $386 million, and the movie hasn't even been out for a week, and it still has a ton of countries it still has to open in.
wow.
Yeah.
And it's already made a Black Adam.
Unbelievable.
And
just days.
And the audience score over 5,000, it's 87%.
Yeah, and listen, look, I don't think Moana 2 was as good as the first Moana.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it. I still think it's quite a fun little movie. I think kids are going to love it. The music is so much worse than, the music's fine. It's fine, but it's so much of a lower standard than, say, the music of the first one was. But a great third act. Overall, I think this is a good movie. I enjoyed it. I'm probably going to see it again. Anne went to go see it the other day too, because I had to see it without her. She went to go see it. She enjoyed it. But $386 million. And the movie hasn't even been out for a week, and it still has a lot of countries it still has to open in.
Did you change your mind about the $1 billion thing? Where...
I mean, for Moana, if it continues on, I mean, if we see next weekend, it's like a Wicked style, like 40 or 50% drop. It could still get there. If it's like 60, 70%, I don't know about that.
Yeah, that's what's going to be the big question. What's the second weekend drop off, right? If it's around 50, yeah. I think if it's 50% or lower, I think we're talking about Moana being the next $1 billion film.
Wow. Okay.
Which, I mean, okay, if it does, we're talking about all top 3 of the biggest films of the year are all Disney films.
Animated specifically.
No, Deadpool and Wolverine wasn't.
Oh,
animated.
right, yeah. Because I'm thinking of Inside Out 2.
Right.
Okay.
So Inside Out 2 is number 1.
Yeah.
Deadpool and Wolverine, Moana. We'll see what Mufasa does. I don't think Mufasa joins the $1 billion club or anything like that. But I mean, guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Aura. Let's be honest, what most people really want for the holidays is to see their favorite people more often. That's why this year, the best gift you can give, besides plane tickets, is an Aura digital picture frame. Named the #1 digital photo frame by Wirecutter, Aura frames are incredibly smart and easy to use, allowing you to upload unlimited photos and videos directly from your phone to the frame. Plus, you can order the frame online and preload it with photos and videos using the Aura app, so it's ready to go right out of the box. Ann and I have had ours for a while now, and we absolutely love it. Because you may not know, Ann and I like to take a lot of pictures, including a lot of our dogs, Ann's recent trip to Paris, and a whole bunch of other things. And we love having it right on display right there in our living room. So save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get 35% off Aura's best-selling Carver matte frames by using promo code Campea at checkout. That's AURA frames.com, promo code Campea. This deal is exclusive to listeners, so get yours now in time for the holidays. Terms and conditions apply. You want to talk about how remember we did a piece the other day. We looked at the stock price history, all that kind of stuff, how Bob Iger has turned the ship around for Disney. And it looks like his strategy about taking more, because remember, the initial plans for Moana 2 were to take it, because this was a Bob Chapek thing, take it and dump it on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
And one of the first things Bob Iger said was, no. Retool this. This is a movie. We're putting Moana 2 in theaters. And it looks like making $400 million before it's even been out in theaters for a week and still hasn't even opened in most countries across the world.
Sure.
Pretty good decision, I think. Yeah. Not a bad decision. And so, like again, Wicked is still going strong. I don't know what opens next week.
It opens next week. Let me
take a look at the release calendar, because I don't know what I'm going to guess nothing big opens next week, because I don't think anything wants to be in the runway of Gladiator, Wicked, and Moana 2. I mean,
it's films like The End, which I kind of want to see with Michael Shannon and Tilda Swinton. The End. But that's Werewolves with Frank Grillo.
Lord of the Rings is coming up.
By the way,
The Order. I want to see The Order with Jude Law and Nicholas Hoult.
I do want to see that. The studio sent me a screener of that Werewolves.
Oh, okay.
With
cool.
Frank Grillo. It's kind of it's an interesting sounding. I never watched it, but it's an interesting sounding concept. I think I'm kind of. But yeah, nothing big.
Yeah, between The Order, Night Bitch will get it some traction, but still these are more like auteur films.
We got a complete
The
unknown.
End that.
No, that's not next week, is it?
December 25th.
Okay, yeah, but that's weeks away.
But
We're talking about this coming.
Okay, this coming week.
But I mean, still coming this year. Craven, Mufasa, Sonic 3, Complete Unknown.
Well, Lord of the Rings.
War of the Rohirrim.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, we still got some big things coming, but I mean, it looks like Moana, at least for this coming week, it still kind of has an open runway for itself.
Yeah. And for the rest of the December, it's pretty much in a lane on its own, you know? Like, I mean, there's not really anything that
Mufasa.
Other than Mufasa.
I mean, but that's still...
That's another Disney thing.
Yeah, that's a different story, a different sort of thing. I mean, I think it's by itself. Like, people will go see Moana 2, regardless of what's coming out.
Yeah. Yeah, again...
Same with Wicked.
It's the same audience that they're trying to target for Mufasa. But I mean, and by the way, they did some very cute cross marketing with Lilo and Stitch.
Oh, did they?
In it as well, which was kind of creative. So
we're talking about Moana, or
Lilo and Stitch did some interesting cross promotion with Moana there. So interesting looking stuff. Huge success for them. Congratulations, and it's great to see the movie theaters. You know, when we went the other day to go, it's so great seeing the movie theaters. So busy and so full, especially again after the way 2024 began with massive disappointing flops of good movies like Furiosa and Fall Guy. By the way, I'm still so frustrated that Furiosa and Fall Guy didn't do well. They're two really good movies.
I don't get it. But you know, I will say just one concluding thing is that this is no better time for Craven, in my opinion, to open up than with all of this momentum and just encouragement of people like loving going to the theaters.
Yes.
So one good turn deserves another in a way, you know?
Yeah. Again, like Ray brought up, could it hurt it with all this when it could be the opposite? I mean, Craven could catch the momentum of people enjoying going to the movie
Had Craven
theater again.
released
We'll
in like
see.
April, or it would have been
sunk.
That was a question I was about to ask you. Just came up. If Mad Max and Fall Guy actually came out right now, would they have made more? Was it a move? Was it maybe the release? Maybe it may have been a
you know what
problem.
I think it is, and I'd have to think about this more. But I was texting with somebody earlier today who kind of brought up that it's like, you know what, in the first part of the year, it's like for whatever reason people just weren't going to the movies this year. And again, that started to change. We saw this, and they sent me a bunch of statistics. You saw that it's grown. I don't think it was a bad decision for them to put out Furiosa and Fall Guy when they did. But now that we know how the movie going patterns happened this year,
You're right.
obviously, yeah, I think if Fall Guy and Furiosa were to come out December of this year, yeah, they would have done. I don't think they would have been massive blockbuster hits, but I think they would have done better than they did back in March.
Yeah.
Because of the counter programming and everything.
Yeah.
Everybody's going back. Yeah, it would. I
think
it
people
would've
were
been
hoping the star power in Fall Guy was going to be like that spark to bring audiences back, but it took a little while. It ended up being Deadpool that brought.
Well, and really, there were some big hits, like even before Deadpool. Again, Inside Out 2 did way better than anybody expected. There were a number of really good performances, but again, until you got past April, it was a really slow start to the year, and now it's really turned things around. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Moana has shattered some long-standing box office records. It looks to be poised to do really well over the next few weeks. How well will it hold up? How big of a second weekend drop-off do you think it's going to do? I don't think it'll be as good of a second weekend drop-off as Wicked, which had under a 30% drop-off. But anyway, how good do you think it's going to do? Whatever you think, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.